All right, then, let's get started. The February 21st meeting of the Downtown Development Authority is now called to order at 12:03 p.m. Can we have the roll call, please?
Patricia Felton.
Here.
Kelly Garrett. She'll be coming late. Mike Green. Here. Charlotte Jones.
Here.
Fred Prime. Pam Schermeyer.
Here.
Dan Sugg.
Here.
Danielle Huey.
Here.
Alex Green.
Here.
Okay. I guess we need a motion to excuse Fred Prime.
Motion presented to excuse Fred Prime, and Kelly, you said is going to be here shortly.
Yeah,
She's running a little bit late.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. Anyone care to make a motion for
I
that?
would offer a motion to approve today's agenda.
Thank you, Dan. Second?
Second.
Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, thank
With
you.
one amendment. We
Okay.
have Brian Ford's name listed as
and he
president at the
was-
last meeting. Brian is no longer on the board, so we'll amend that and
Okay.
approval.
All right,
So I will support that.
okay, all in favor?
Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm not sure what the Southfield Chamber of Commerce item is.
Sorry about it. It says approval of minutes. It should be presentations. But we have Jasmine here from the Chamber of Commerce. They're providing just a little update on chamber activities and what's going on with City of Lathrup Village. So it's a presentation, not an action.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Patton. I'm the Executive Director of the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce. I've been with the Chamber about 6.5 years now. So my reason for coming today was to basically introduce myself, give you some brief updates regarding what we have going on in terms of events, and also to just highlight our continued partnership. We've been working with Mike and also Austin. I've had a conversation with Mayor Garrett on ways that we can increase the visibility for businesses in Lathrup Village, ways that we can use our resources to further help those businesses to grow and to help them market. So we do have an upcoming meeting that's taking place February the 25th at Michigan First Credit Union. We'll be hosting a Business Talk Tuesday, which is in Lathrup Village. We'll be highlighting the future of benefits for payroll. So we'll be discussing all of the payroll changes that are taking place. We're getting lots of inquiries regarding what it means, what the changes will impact for businesses, and we'd like to just offer a level of transparency to give them additional support. So we'll have a lawyer from Foster Swift to go over what the changes actually mean up to date. There are still changes that are happening to the changes we thought we would be talking about. And we'll also have a payroll specialist from Paychecks, highlighting how to implement it for your HR services. So we wanted to make sure that Lathrup Village businesses understood, because you are a member of the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce, they receive the same benefit of being able to attend these free workshops. Did you have any questions for me? I'm here to, it's not really a formal presentation, more of an introduction and wanting to continue to have communication with the DDA.
What time is the workshop?
The workshop is being held 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it'll be on the Mint side.
Yep, the east end of the building, yep.
Okay, anyone else?
And you said your name was Jasmine?
Jasmine Patton, yes, sir.
Thank you, Jasmine, for coming today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the consent agenda, which includes our various financial reports, monthly financial reports, and the code enforcement report. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda? Unless anybody has anything they'd like to say before that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our first public comment section. Anybody from the public care to comment? If so, go up to this podium where the microphone is. Okay, not seeing anybody rise. Let's move on to old business, which is blank on our
Yeah,
budget.
we got nothing.
Okay, we got nothing. All old business has been taken care of. Good to hear. All right, new business. We've got some alleyway enhancement bids to consider.
Yes, and I'll turn it over to Scott Ringler, City Engineer, in a second. Just as a reminder for DDA, a couple months ago, we had a discussion whether we were going to bid out essentially 2 years worth of alley projects or keep it originally planned for some this year and some next year. As Scott will go into, we opened bids up a couple weeks ago. We did have some good pricing come in. Just for the DDA's knowledge, we did budget $345,000 this year for alleyways, but that was only projected to do just essentially half of the alleys that are in this plan. So we got great deal on pricing. I'll turn it over to Scott to kind of go over the project some more.
Thanks. Again, Scott Ringler with Giffords Webster. I've been the city's consulting engineer for 25 years now. We opened bids on February 11th for the DDA's alley reconstruction project. There are 7 alleys to be reconstructed this year. Most of them are north of 696. There's one that's actually south of 696. There was a total of 7 bids received. They ranged in price from around $333,000 to $521,000. The low bid was submitted by a company called Merswa Paving at the $333,000. The second low bid was by Asphalt Specialists at $361,000. The low bidder, Merswa, is a new business doing paving, but they purchased a 40-year-old business called Bowen Paving, who is a pretty good paver. I know they've done work in the city. They've done a lot of driveways, some big driveways. We did check 2 references. Both had very positive things to say about them, so we're frankly relieved to hear that. So, based on the positive references and the low bid, our recommendation is to the DDA is to award the contract to Merswa Paving at the bid price of $333,103.93.
When did Merswa buy Bowen?
I want to say in the fall of '24.
So pretty recently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
And where are they out of? I
They're
know-
out of Pontiac.
Was that where Bowen?
Yes.
Where
That's where
was-
Bowen's office was in Yard. It's the same office in Yard.
And was Merswa an out-of-state organization that?
I don't
moved
believe
into-
so. I
no.
think they were.
Just
they're-
start
they're-
over.
They're local.
Yeah,
Okay.
based on looking, it looked like Merswa did a lot of like private development work
Yeah.
before officially taking on.
So they
Bowen.
added a-
So it looked like they had some experience in this, just not necessarily municipal work.
Okay.
Yeah, and the good thing that's Scott talked about the references with Bowen, their entire staff is pretty much staying on, including the ownership. They're just going into a kind of a manager level role. So we're keeping that same expertise just under a different name.
Great.
So Scott, when we're done with this year's projects, how much do we have to do yet?
That's it.
Good.
Yeah, so like
Good.
Mike said, we were looking to do this over 2 years, and when we started doing the design and putting the budget together, we felt like we might be able to get next year's program rolled into this year's, within the budget that the DDA allotted.
Yeah.
And we did. We came in, I think the budget was,
Yeah, the budget amount was $345, and that was only supposed to be
yeah,
a portion of the alleys that we actually.
yeah, but when you add next year's budget that we had was about $502,000, and that includes engineering fees, and the estimate came in at $424,000. So
Okay,
somewhere near $80,000 less than what was budgeted.
very good.
Yep, and this was always planned to be paid with essentially using DDA fund balance as well. So we're getting some savings and we're knocking everything out a year ahead of time.
Yeah, and somebody asked me earlier how long I'd been on the board, and it's been going on 6 years. This is kind of our legacy, alleyways and sidewalks.
Are we the sexiest authority?
We're
or what?
known for something, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I feel like I should go drive them
Yeah.
now, so.
But wait, this is year 5, right? It's supposed to be a 5-year project, so
Well,
Yeah,
I drive
you know,
them sometimes.
year-
They're very small.
21.
Year one was really small. We added some
Yeah.
approaches, but in 22, 3, and 4 were bigger alley projects.
Okay, all right. Well, having looked at all the engineering specs, I congratulate any contractor who could understand them and make a bid on them. Because I mean, an impressive amount of sketching and numbers and
There's a lot of numbers.
things that went over my head, but great. Okay, so I guess I'm hoping to accepting a motion that we approve Merswa paving at the bid of $333,133.93.
I will make that motion.
Okay. All
What's
right,
up, Kelly?
and second
Support
for
Yes.
Good.
Danielle. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm going to add really quick, tentatively scheduled to start in mid-April, it's weather permitting with frost and all. And we will send letters to all the affected businesses and a couple residents prior to starting.
Okay.
Yep, the goal is to get this project done essentially before July 1.
It was July 6th, I think, is substantial completion, with end of July total completion.
Yeah, that is good.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Scott.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the 2024 DDA Annual Report.
So, naturally, Austin is out at a conference today, so I'm going to fill in as best I can. But every single year, the DDA completes an annual report and submits it to City Council. This is a yearly process. So this year, enclosed in your packet, is everything the DDA has accomplished over the 2024 calendar year.
I noted that we've had a re-election since this chart went in. It was, I think, last spring that Charlotte was named secretary and I'm vice chair. And my term will end in 2029 now, or 2028, one of those. Anyway, Austin will figure it out and fix this. Did anybody see anything else in the report that doesn't seem right? Okay. This is just FYI, we don't need a motion, do we?
Yeah, you motion to recommend council approve it, or council accept it, because this will go to City Council
Oh, we
for.
forward it? Okay.
Yep, for acceptance.
Okay, can I get that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Southfield Road hanging flower baskets ordered. I'm assuming you want me to take that?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, I need my notes, but I'll start talking anyway. So the beautification committee this year thought that we'd like to explore our options for a supplier for our annual flowers. And so we spent kind of many fruitless phone calls and emails to various retail establishments and other suppliers trying to find someone. And we weren't having much luck. So I asked DDA Director Colson to ask his colleagues or his counterparts in other local communities, who do they use for flowers? And thanks to Oak Park, we found a guy who then referred us to his colleague, Joe Cucci, who is a farmer in Macomb County. And during the summer months, he grows vegetables. But during the early spring months, he's the flower guy. I mean, the way he works is he takes, the cities deliver their empty hanging baskets to his farm on 26 Mile Road. And then he fills it with fresh potting soil and with, slow release fertilizer. And in early March, he sticks in the little plants and he takes care of them in his greenhouse until, third week of May probably. And then they're all nice and full and bushy and he delivers the pots back to the city. And as soon as I find the number here, I have it somewhere, he, Austin had it on his schedule, didn't he?
The amount?
Yeah, the amount.
1871.
Okay, so he gave us this quote of $1,871 to do 40 hanging baskets. We may not do that many, but it won't be any more than 40. I think we hung 33 baskets last year. And that amount is 20% less than what we spent for the hanging baskets last year. So this seems like a spectacular deal to me. So I would hope that we'd approve it. I will say, though, that this deal does not include the standing pots. Around City Hall, we have 13 standing pots at either around the building or at the gazebo. And because, with a standing pot, you want a much greater variety of plants, but the quantity is much less. So that kind of rules out getting like a wholesale deal on it, because no grower is going to want to grow 3 begonias for you. So we'll come up with something, a different solution for that, but that'll be a little later this spring, probably. With that, can I get a motion to approve Joe Cucci and Sons bid for the hanging basket flowers?
I just have one question, Pam. So
Yep.
did the beautification committee then plant their own baskets last year? What is?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, did
so
you-
we're saving all that labor and
Right,
time too, right?
right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yay
Which
for
wasn't
Joe
necessarily the goal, but
Cucci. Yeah,
we'll take it.
yeah. Motion to approve, oh, so did you have a question?
I did.
Sorry.
So what is gonna happen with the other, standing pots?
Yeah, we don't know yet. I am talking to English Gardens, who is our supplier, and seeing, last year, and seeing if they can do anything for us. And I have a couple of other possibilities of, retailers who might be willing to do a few things. Like Home Depot was kind of willing, but not able, because they don't really know what's coming in from week to week. So we may actually have to go shopping ourselves, in May, but
And
we'll
so
see.
this plan, this would be every year,
No, this is just for this year,
just for this
just for
year?
this year, yeah. Yep, I think they go year to year. So, it comes out to like $45 a pot, and we have big pots. So, the potting soil alone would probably cost about $400. So, yeah, so it's a good deal.
Okay.
All right. Not hearing any other questions, motion to approve the purchase of $871 for filling up our pots.
I did have a question.
Okay?
Are we planning, just curious, annuals or perennials?
Annuals,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just
the pots are removed every single year. Pots are
Oh.
stored in DPW, but
Okay,
we do have a
okay.
contractor that waters them every day, so the annuals have worked in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, if you plant perennials, then they might not bloom all summer long, so, yeah, everybody goes with annuals. All right, I kind of lost track here. Are we ready for a vote? Okay, all
I
in
need a
favor?
second,
Yeah,
I think.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And I did talk to Southfield Lathrup's principal yesterday, and they have an actual gardening club there, so they can possibly, she wants to volunteer, do more stuff here, so it's possible they can help us with doing the potted plants.
And we're also going to have the beautification committee is also working on planting more plants outside of our foundation of the city hall later this year. I'm not sure if it's going to be in spring or fall, but probably in spring. Last fall, we planted trees and bushes, and this spring, we want to plant the smaller perennials. So it'll be basically a complete overhaul of the plants around City Hall. So we'll have an update on that probably next month.
Great.
Okay, next item is the fiscal year 25-26 DDA budget.
Yeah, so this is just the draft, this is just for discussion. The hope is next month we have a formal budget for you guys to approve so we can keep moving this forward with City Council. So for the DDA, one of the biggest changes this year and one of the biggest hurdles, Michigan First won their tax tribunal, and that's going to lower the DDA's tax capture by roughly $100,000. So while we got a deal on alleys and we're done with that project, and we were hoping initially to go into next year, start being able to bring money in and do different projects, we are now going to be running a very tight budget with the DDA for the next few years. So we presented just a very initial draft budget to you. And as of right now, we're still looking at like a $15,000 to $20,000 shortfall. So we're trying to get some input from the DDA on what kind of programs do you want to do next year? What do you think could take a break for next year? While we kind of recoup for a year or two based off this lost tax capture. And so some things we've already done. Naturally, we no longer have 2 full-time staff in the DDA. We have 1 full-time, and we're now down to a part-time intern, so that saved a bunch of money. We no longer have the capital projects with the alleys, and the hawk signal should be done, or worst case, it's already been approved. It'll just be paid out of fund balance. But right now, we're on a very narrow budget for this next year.
I had a question about the cell phone, the $800. How many phones does that include?
So that might be a line item that could get reduced. We do have 1 for sure with Austin. It was 2 last year.
Oh, this is annual.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the annual
Yeah,
budget.
yeah.
So we do have 1 for sure with Austin. So it might be able to get reduced down to 500, 600.
Okay.
So when do you want our feedback by? The next meeting?
Yeah, I'd say if you have feedback realistically within the next week or 2, because that way we can build this. Because like you guys have in the past, you've gotten a nice little formal budget book for you guys. Naturally, plan still to do that this year, but we don't want to do that without a balanced budget. So we'll take any feedback you guys have, and we'll nickel and dime this as much as we can, and bring it balanced. That's our goal. Yeah. The input for today was just see if you guys had any, like, naturally first impressions, see if anything initially that you think could get cut or reduced, or if there's a program that you say this has to be in there no matter what, and we'll try to make it work.
What does streetscaping entail, other than the flowers? I mean, is that where our landscaping contractor comes in?
So no, that's under repair and maintenance. For streetscaping,
Okay.
you guys had plant material, and we kind of built this off last year's as well. So we had plant materials, we had purchasing some banners potentially, and then
Yeah.
streetscaping also includes the holiday decorations.
Okay, all right. Well, I do think we need banners. The ones we have are all faded and not particularly effective, because they're just too hard to read, I think. Okay.
So a little bit about the music festival expense. I thought that we were rolling over money that they made, and we were not adding more.
It'll still count as an expense. So yeah, we're still thinking, based off the conversation we had earlier, it'd still be DDA 10 grand no matter what.
Okay.
So, and that's why it's kind of offset as well, where if you look at the revenue side, we also have just 10 grand listed for that. So we're considering that a wash right now.
Okay.
The entire point of the music festival is that it pays for itself. So that line item will always be adjusted throughout the year with based on whatever comes in, whatever's actually spent.
So as far as new programs, I spoke we spoke maybe like a couple months ago, Patricia and I, about getting some third-party vendors to come in and help with the small businesses. So listening to, like, myself, who's a business owner on the board, Patricia, we're the only ones who spoke about it, and other business owners in Lathrup, some resources from the outside, like piggybacking on what Jasmine said about coming in and helping the local businesses with how fast marketing is changing, and I think they're having a hard time keeping up.
Okay.
So I spoke to one company, so I didn't want to formally put it on the agenda yet, but I'll do it for next month,
Okay.
if we can find money for it, apparently.
That's it. This current year, we're still doing okay.
Okay.
So naturally, the plan is still going to use your fund balance anyways, because we got the 2 major capital projects. This is really for next year. Next year's when this really hits.
Okay.
And can we afford such a dramatic cut in repairs and maintenance? What, I mean, look.
The biggest thing with repairs and maintenance, that's where you guys had your alleys and hawk signal. That's where it was last year. That's why you see that $500,000
Oh, I see.
number.
Okay,
So, and that's why above that, you'll see that new line item where it's capital improvements. That's where things like that probably should have been budgeted to be more clear. But yeah, that's the drastic reduction in repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, and we bought a truck in there too, right? A
yeah,
vehicle.
right.
Was
The,
that 2
That-
years ago, or was
That'd
that?
have been like two budgets ago.
Yeah.
But yes, you guys did buy a truck.
Yeah. I mean, we spent a fair amount of money doing things that were, not to say we didn't budget for the alleyways, but that was kind of like, hey, they gotta get fixed, you know, so. Yeah, I think this is a good first pass. I'd love
Yeah.
to look at it a little bit
Right, and
Deeper, but-
we added the flock safety cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that'll be an annual.
The only other thing was the playscape, and we didn't get the grant and stuff for that, so.
Well, yeah, so we're still reapplying for a grant for that, except we're going through the MDNR this time. We're looking for them to cover 400 some thousand of it. We're still hoping Oakland County holds their end, covers the other 100,000, and that will pay for it.
But wasn't it 800 grand or something?
We've
It was a
reduced-
big number, I
yeah,
remember.
We're down to like a 500, 550.
Yeah.
So we've
So we're
managed
not
it.
budgeting anything from the DDA?
No,
there?
and even in the last budget, we decided that we cut that $100,000 out of the budget,
Yeah.
and it was noted that, hey, if it does come fruition, you guys still have the ability to do a budget amendment, use your fund balance if you want
Yeah.
to. But yeah, like stuff like that, it's not included in the budget.
Yeah.
No.
All right, yeah, good
Okay.
first pass.
How do we compute the percentage of taxes captured from each, I guess, business or property within the development authority?
Yep, so for tax capture, it's just like a private residence. You have your taxable value. And then for the DDA, you guys have up to 2 mills. It's been reduced to about 1.8. That's dedicated from those property taxes. And then for the TIF capture, whenever the DDA was established, any improvements since then go to the DDA. Yeah. And we can break it down some more when Austin's back, but
Okay.
yeah, there's a little nuance to how a TIF district works. But
Okay, looks like we're ready for public comment.
I just wanted to add acknowledgement of ribbon cutting celebrations. I didn't speak on that a bit earlier. We've done the ribbon cutting celebrations for Panera Bread, Jaybird's Event House. Has been one of our partners, wanted to acknowledge that. We've actually hosted about 4 events at Event House. We hosted a business luncheon with Seed Lending to help businesses receive funding information, an HR conference. Last November, a small business vendor event where the local community could come out and support small business owners. And we are anticipating, I wanted to make sure I mentioned in March, I met with the owner of Bigsby Coffee, and she would like to have a open house when it gets warmer outside. That strip on that side of the street, there's several businesses that are there that are wanting to get more foot traffic. So we've spoken to the owners of that development strip, and they're excited about potentially having a sidewalk summer sale where we can invite chamber members and surrounding communities to come out and just support 44 Burrito, Gabby's storefront, the clothing storefront, as well as the new Bigsby. So I just wanted to note that we'll, of course, continue to support the Tri-City Initiative succession planning event that's taking place here. So we'll help promote that event, as well as we facilitated a conversation with Austin and with Mike and brought on Oakland Thrive, who we're all familiar with, has tons of resources, to your point, Danielle, about helping businesses with marketing, accounting. They are already paying for it, and they've recently expanded from 2 hours of service to now covering, I believe, 4 to 6. So right now, the Chamber, Oakland Thrive, other entities are all helping and kind of working in silos. We like to work together as much as possible to have a larger impact and possibly have a one-pager to kind of give people a success pathway on where to go if they're looking to connect with business resources. So I just wanted to note that.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Jasmine.
So do all of the businesses have to be signed up for the Southfield Chamber's newsletter to get those alerts?
One of the ways, yes, that would be a great start, but we could work with Mike, and I know you guys have a newsletter. We'd be happy to cross-share information and make sure both pockets of the subscription list receive the updates.
Okay.
Thanks, Jasmine. My name's Lauren Barris, and I want to thank you for budgeting for the LVMF and finding the value in that. We are excited about it again this year. We're already in planning. We're receiving a lot of band submissions. We're already getting our lineup ready. We have $4,500 in sponsorships that are promised to us right now. We don't have the check yet, but it's coming. And we're securing other sponsors as I speak. We also heard you about wanting a family area, And we're dedicating budget, part of our budget to a family area, and it's going to be significant. And the Parks and Rec Department is excited to partner with us and run that area for us with our help. And I think that's it. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Okay, the DDA Director Report.
I'll run through this as best I can, and Tom, if you have anything I missed, feel free to chime in. Lauren touched on the LVMF. There is a fundraiser also coming up for that on March 13th at Dog and Pony Show Brewing from 6 to 11 p.m. And I believe it's a $1 per beer that's sold that day from whoever buys it will go to the LVMF. We have a succession planning training on April 30th, and that's going to be here in Lathrup Village. The DDA is working also with the tree committee to plan an Arbor Day planting event. It's going to be April 26th. The location's still to be determined. We have business resource training scheduled in May, and that location is in Oak Park. We're going to work on a morning business mixer in July, also with Southfield, and this is part of our Tri-City partnership. And then some business updates. So we have the business just south of us. They're still working on interior build out. So the laundromat is nearly finished, and they got the other 3 units that are going in. We have heard from the business owner that they do have some tenants lined up. They have not shared with us who they are yet, but it does still look like it's moving forward. Rita's Ice got their new wall sign up, and it looks pretty good, in my opinion. And then you got 28200 Southfield Road has finalized a roof replacement. So we're in that slow time of year for development. We know it's going to pick up over the next couple months as people plan their spring and summer build-outs. But so far, so good.
Okay.
Is there any movement?
Next door?
Yeah.
So they went to the Historic District Commission meeting a couple days ago. Historic District Commission signed off on their plans. So it's gotten through that hurdle. On Monday's City Council meeting, there is a zoning ordinance amendment going before City Council for consideration that would allow first floor residential in the Village Center District. Then after that, they still have to get final site plan approval, and then they'll continue moving forward. But that's where we're at with that.
Right.
All right. Anything else, Mike, or are we through the list?
Good.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, second.
Second.
Oh, I didn't have a question, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Just in the nick of
Who's
time.
speaking?
Sorry. And I don't know if this needs to be taken offline, but there's been a couple of people that have expressed the time we meet, that might not, obviously, it doesn't work for me, but, to rethink, and I know that it's in our bylaws, I think, is it? So how do we go about, like, maybe taking a vote or something like that? Or is it something that we're willing to even discuss again?
It's in the time
I
of,
think it should be discussed. I can't come in the middle of a school day.
Yeah.
And it's just so happened we're off this week. But when we start next week, we run 6 weeks, Monday through Friday. So it's very hard for me to attend the meetings at 12 noon.
And while my business is here, my job is not, and I've been ordered back to work. And so, starting next week, I will be in the office 5 days a week.
So if it works, Tom, if you want to put this down for next month's meeting, we'll
Okay.
put an agenda item for discussion, see if you guys want to amend your bylaws. If that works.
it's really in the bylaws?
I'm pretty sure.
I know it's somewhere.
It's either in the bylaws,
yeah.
or since you guys do set your meeting calendar every single year, it's either in the bylaws or it's based off that approval is how this has gone on for essentially a decade.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, we can add that agenda.
It's not the
item.
first time it's come up.
Yeah,
No,
we-
it's not. I just can't remember if it was bylaws or it's something we
Yeah.
voted on. But.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's voted on every single year. We'll double check to see if it's officially in the bylaws, but if not, no matter what, a vote would have to take place to change it.
There should be a
Okay.
way to change it too.
It is. It's just a vote. It's either voting to change the bylaws or just voting to change the meeting date and
I think
time.
that's the easy part. The hard part is agreeing on the time.
I was about that. I'm like, so we're doing
I mean,
evenings
everybody's
or
gonna have a
weekends?
different
I was gonna say,
opinion, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I would love to hear some open discussion around it. I certainly, like everybody, work full-time, so it's just a matter of finding when it works for everyone, so. And I'm pretty flexible, so.
Yeah, so we can have that discussion. I can say just based on my experience in my multiple communities, I've seen it in the morning, I've seen it in the evening, like right at 5. I know a lot of people don't want to come here at 7. So we're open to any discussion, but I've seen it at any time of day because I know a lot of business owners. I've seen them at 8 a.m., 7:30 in the morning. You have your coffee.
If you make it after 5, you're gonna lose me. I can tell you that.
You got a far way to drive.
Yeah,
So
but-
that's the conversation we can just have.
Yeah. Okay, great.
And I mean, I also work full-time, and Friday's my work from home day, but I'm supposed to be working from home, you know? So I'm kind
He
of
didn't mean
taking
that
long
on the
lunches.
camera,
Oh,
Yeah, we can probably take that out.
Edit.
okay.
All right, I think meeting is adjourned.
All right.